Evening. On location at General Conference. Listen, I just wanted to get on today and just kind of encourage you just about not letting anyone silence your voice. It's been that kind of a week where it's really easy for people to make you feel like you don't really have enough to say or what you have to say doesn't matter. So, we're going to spend a couple of minutes tonight just talking about the importance of not letting anyone silence your voice. Good evening, Rhonda. Good evening, Sunshine. Glad that you are both here. Hope that others are. I see there's at least four, so others, if you can say hello. I know my lighting is not normal, it's not like it's been, but we're okay. And please ignore my voice. Yay, Eleanor. Good to see you. But as you know, I've been singing all week, so got a little raspiness, but we'll make it. So good evening and welcome to another broadcast of Thriving Tuesday Moments of Encouragement. Hashtag veeencouraged. And tonight, I just want to spend a few moments talking about the importance of not letting anyone silence your voice. Good evening, Reverend Fuller. Because we live in a cancel culture world where the moment you say something someone doesn't like, you're immediately canceled. It makes us very cautious, sometimes timid about speaking, about letting our voice be known. We live in a very strange political climate. And so often people make you feel like your voice doesn't matter because power sometimes pushes you to a place where you feel marginalized, even with your voice. Well, I came to encourage you tonight. Do not let anyone silence your voice. People will want to silence you because they are really afraid of what your voice means. And so often when we allow people to silence our voices, the thing that God has given us gets pushed back into a corner or gets diminished or gets reduced to not being as important. And what we end up doing is we grieve God because God placed that in us. So we can't afford to let anyone silence the voice that God has given us, that voice that is within us that says that what we're thinking, what we are feeling matters. We can't let anyone make us feel like it doesn't matter. A lot of experiences over these last several days, and that kind of generated this thought for tonight. I listen to people speak, and people make them feel like their words don't matter. But the great thing is that we live in a world where if I want to speak, I have the right to speak. It's not just a First Amendment issue. It's a matter of knowing, like we said last week, knowing your worth and then knowing that your voice is valid. So I came to encourage you tonight, as God did to Joshua in Joshua 1:9, to be strong and courageous. Be very strong and courageous. Know that your voice matters. There are always going to be people who think that what you have to say is invalid. They have a right to their opinion, but you have a right to yours as well. And if you believe your voice is valid, don't let anyone silence it, ever. Sure, we got to use some decorum. We've got to be careful. We've got to use some discretion. We've got to be discerning about when to speak and with what temperament to speak with. But when we let people silence us because we've gotten timid and afraid because we're concerned about how they're going to make us feel, we've got to remember that he who worketh within us is greater than any person. So if God has placed that inside of you, you speak with boldness, with courageousness. You make sure that you know that what God has given you, no one can take away. I'm glad, Reverend Fuller, we got to keep having those kinds of discussions. For when we speak what we know is right, then I'm a witness. God will validate it in ways that will blow your mind. So do not silence your voice. Speak well when you speak. Think it through. But don't let your voice be silenced because no one has the thoughts that you have. And because they're your thoughts, know that they're valid. Speak up, stand up, and be bold about what you say. You don't have to speak your words and then disappear, like throw a rock and hide your hand. What you have to do is say, what I have to say matters. I'm going to speak my mind. When I finish speaking my mind, I am going to trust that I am in the right place at the right time for the words that I say to be received. And when they're received, that you will be able to have the impact you intended to have when you opened your mouth. So I wish that for each of you. I want to encourage you to speak up, to not be afraid to speak, and never, ever let anyone silence your voice. I got to run, got to get to the session, but I wanted to say that to you. Drop that in your spirit. Let it marinate. Share that with someone else, and I'll see you soon. Listen, do not let anyone silence your voice, and be encouraged. See you next week.